As only 2 minutes remain until the conclusion of the Tournament of Power, before mastering the power of Ultra Instinct, Goku looks to have his hands full against Jiren, as Jiren seemingly pushes Goku back in their struggle for supremacy. But before Goku taps into the true powers of Ultra Instinct, is Jiren on par, if not stronger than current Ultra Instinct Goku? Once Goku masters Ultra Instinct, is it going to be a one and done slaughter for Universe 11? On today's video, we will be discussing the relative powers of Jiren and Ultra Instinct Omen Goku, and the direction of true Ultra Instinct when it's introduced in the finale, next. If you are new to this channel and enjoy what you see, then don't forget to punch that subscribe button and turn on all notifications by clicking on the bell icon to receive new and daily content on your mobile devices, desktops, and services that I provide, along with following me on these social media platforms to stay connected with me at all times. Thank you so much for your continued support. Now let's begin. With only 2 minutes remaining until the finale of the Tournament of Power, Ultra Instinct Omen Goku is looking to clash against Jiren before mastering the Ultra Instinct power and having to pretty much be indestructible in the finale of the Tournament of Power. And joining me here today to discuss Ultra Instinct Goku versus Jiren is my good friend SuperSaiyanPaul. Now Paul, we've spoke about this off screen. We spoke about how this is going to be the be-all end-all fight. This has been the fight that we've all been looking forward to and seeing ever since the inception of the Tournament of Power. It's been foreshadowed ever since the beginning. A lot of people may have missed out on the clues that were put before us, but going into this final fight, looking at what's going to transpire in Dragon Ball Super episode 129 and seeing how Goku is ultimately going to master this Ultra Instinct power, before he does so, what I wanted to ask you is, how do you feel about the concept of Jiren being relative and equal to Ultra Instinct Omen Goku, the imperfected power before Goku masters this technique and this ability to pretty much be indestructible by the end? Because looking at the extended preview and looking at how we saw everything come about with Goku and Jiren and how their fight's going to be absolutely chaotic, I do think that, in my opinion, looking at the preview, Jiren is going to be more than relative in keeping up with Ultra Instinct Omen, hence why he was able to deflect his Kamehameha, blast Goku back with his attack, and pushing him as far enough to where Goku has to be a bit on the defense as he's fighting Jiren, because Jiren, I think, more or less is very aware as to what Goku is doing, or at least how powerful he is now in comparison to his Super Saiyan forms, his Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken forms, and stuff like that. So going into this fight, what are your overall thoughts on the difference in power being narrow, but only to the point where Jiren is still ahead, and Goku having to fall back more or less in feats until mastering the Ultra Instinct power, and thus, I believe, by the end, completely foddering Jiren? Because I don't think that even with this power, are they going to introduce another level for Jiren to where he could increase his power that much more to be relative to a mastered Ultra Instinct Goku. So going into this fight, what are your thoughts on UI Goku versus Jiren, and do you believe that they would be equal in power, or at least would one character be ahead of the other?
My thoughts on Jiren being able to match up with base form Ultra Instinct or Ultra Instinct Omen is that Jiren was so powerful in this tournament. He had all of this power, and the fact that he was just subduing himself the entire time, he could have ringed out everybody at the start.
Yeah,
is really, really interesting, because the way the tournament is headed, if you guys don't know, Goku's gonna get mastered Ultra Instinct, we know this, but it's gonna be so powerful that it's most likely gonna overtake Jiren. So basically, Jiren having the potential to basically ring everybody out in every other universe from the start is going to get ringed out by his own ego, his own cockiness, and it's
he allowed Goku to stay. I remember that vividly, because he had the opportunity. After he beat Goku, he pretty much told everybody he did what he did. That was his mission, was to take out the strongest, which was hitting Goku. He noticed Goku, he allowed him to stay, but that more or less coincides to Jiren wanting to fight Ultra Instinct. And now that we're going into this, we see that based on the preview, we see that based on spoilers, that Jiren is possibly going to be relative to Ultra Instinct Omen. And before we go into the mastery of Ultra Instinct, what I wanted to ask you is, do you think it makes sense and it's illogical for Jiren to be relative to Ultra Instinct? Or do you think that perhaps maybe this kind of takes away from the essence of what Ultra Instinct is? Because up until this very point, it's been built up to be this invincible power that Goku has gained, and now in this preview, it looks like Jiren not only is able to go toe-to-toe with Goku, but it more or less looks like he's able to hang in there with no problem in getting the best of Goku. So do you believe that if Jiren is relative to UI Omen Goku, that it takes away from the Ultra Instinct power? Or do you believe that, in your opinion, it makes sense for Jiren to at least be stronger than regular UI, but ultimately succumbing to the mastery of Ultra Instinct as we go into episode 130?
You know, I was actually kind of fine with it until they brought in this new mastered form and the hair color change, because it wasn't perfected at the time, so that was understandable, but it kind of feels like it's almost two different transformations happening here, with the base form Ultra Instinct Omen and then mastered Ultra Instinct having the white hair.
Right.
It feels like they really just nerfed down the original form now, and I was expecting it to be the final showdown with him having just regular black hair and him just having the fiery aura behind him instead of having a complete like aesthetic change with the hair and everything like that. With Jiren being able to match up with the base form, it's starting to downplay that one, and now that the white hair is starting to overshadow the form as well, that form is going downhill, while mastered Ultra Instinct, this is the end-all be-all of all forms, taking on someone that was just infinitely powerful than anybody at the start of the tournament, and now he's just being brought down to the ground. And we know that Goku in this tournament, he's made for victory. He's not everything, all the merchandise made for victory. It's the ultimate epitome of plot armor in a form. Jiren, you better look out.
I just think that with Imperfect Ultra Instinct, the way it was handled, a lot of people, I vividly, when it was first introduced, everybody was at complete awe, because here you have Goku using Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20 to push back his own Spirit Bomb, and then in the midst of that, we saw how Jiren casually, just with his eyes, was able to push the Spirit Bomb back enough to where it condensed in the form of a black hole, it erupted in front of Goku, and then when Goku came back, you felt that there was this different energy about him, and then as he fought Jiren, we saw the difference in terms of power, how it was beginning to close, and even pointed out by 17, by Piccolo, that the overwhelming difference that Jiren had over Goku in terms of power was beginning to narrow on down because of Goku's improvement rate. So it became very evident towards the end of episode 110 when Goku was finally able to land a shot on Jiren. We see Ultra Instinct reintroduced now for the third time. How is it you feel about the form? Do you feel like incompleted Ultra Instinct, or at least Ultra Instinct Omen, is completely going to be overshadowed by the mastered Ultra Instinct concept? Because I felt like, and I said this before, I would have preferred to see mastered Ultra Instinct in another arc, or maybe somewhere down the line, not now, because with Goku having to tap back into this power again for the third time, it just didn't make any sense, you know, for me at least, to see Goku all of a sudden master this. We see based on the translations in the extended preview that Goku even said it himself, his body is beginning to glow silver, and based on the translations, he's pretty much labeled as being indestructible. So do you think that they're introducing this concept way too soon? I'm not against the idea of Goku mastering this power and having the ultimate power bestowed upon him, because it's Goku. He's been doing this ever since Dragon Ball, so it doesn't really surprise me anymore, but I really do feel like they ought to have saved this for a later time, you know, in the future, because we just got Ultra Instinct literally in this arc, and I feel like if it was up to the fans, we want to see more of what the imperfected power can do before he masters that. The same can be implied when Goku first went Super Saiyan back in Dragon Ball Z. The rest of the gang were trying to figure out how to master this power, how to transcend that, and ascending into Super Saiyan 2, and it more or less felt special because at the time, you thought that Super Saiyan was the be-all end-all until the Saiyans found a way to ascend even past that. So that's the only gripe that I have, is introducing the form way too soon. But in your opinion, do you believe that this kind of devalues Ultra Instinct Omen? And what are your overall thoughts on the concept of the form being introduced so soon and the difference in power between Jiren and Goku?
At least I don't think it's a complete waste, because we're gonna get a really badass fight. However, I do agree with you. I feel like this form, mastered Ultra Instinct with the white hair, should have been saved for much later on, because if you look at the way the pacing was set here, Goku's still in Ultra Instinct. He hasn't tapped into this white form yet. In literally 1 minute from now, in the showtime, yo, he's going to unlock all of the potential in this form and go into ultimate plot armor, Mastered Ultra Instinct, take down the infinite power being Jiren. How is that supposed to make sense? It's too rushed, and it's like it just watered down everything that was just so hype about this form.
Wait, so let me ask you, do you think Jiren has any chance? I mean, if you were to look at this objectively, not from a subjective point of view to where you think Mastered UI is going to win, because I'll be honest, from a subjective point of view, Mastered Ultra Instinct is going to dominate Jiren so bad to where Jiren's not going to have a chance. But you know, looking at it from a different point of view, to where we haven't seen Jiren's full power yet, looking at it from that standpoint, if he does reveal and unleash his true power, do you think that maybe there is a chance, maybe, that he could at least push back Mastered UI? Or do you think that Mastered Ultra Instinct is completely just gonna obliterate him, no competition? Jiren is just going to be the wall that is going to be overcame by Goku's new power, and it's going to be very one-sided towards the finale. How do you feel about that?
I think best case scenario for Jiren is that he gets a stalemate. That is the best case scenario for him at this point. If the show wasn't ending, there would be much more to delve into here. There's so many possibilities of what could have happened, and they could have written like a whole tree branch of obstacles and outcomes that could have happened with Jiren here, but with how fast-paced it's moving, how fast he's getting this form, Jiren at best, it's going to be a stalemate, and Frieza would have to be the tipping scale. But for the most part, I see this form completely dominating Jiren. Jiren has no chance, and plus, with not only the titles and plus the show being revealed and everything in the ending right there in episode 131, the merchandising, like they're merchandising the crap out of Mastered Ultra Instinct, compared to Jiren, not so much, and they can't have this brand new form be brought out here in a minute, only be featured for basically maybe an episode and a half at most, and have this lose. It's all riding on Mastered Ultra Instinct here to end off this show. It's the closer.
So looking at it from true Ultra Instinct, you don't see Jiren being anywhere near that kind of a caliber, correct?
Anywhere near him, not so much. At best case scenario, stalemate, but that's it. I don't think he's.
What about regular UI? Because in the preview, I feel like going into episode 129, Jiren is going to, I think, get the better of Ultra Instinct, because in the preview, we saw when Goku utilized his Kamehameha, the same Kamehameha that blew away Kefla, it was pretty much, you know, stalemated to where Jiren was pushing it back with a blast until he released his full energy, and we saw how Goku was overwhelmed with this energy, with this power, and we saw Goku get literally blown back, you know, just up in the sky until he landed somewhere else, until at that given point we see him begin to glow, and that's when, assumingly, he's going to transform. So while Jiren fights Ultra Instinct, do you see it to where Jiren completely mollywops Goku, or do you see it to where it's probably going to be one-sided to Goku having the upper hand, Jiren having the upper hand, being a stalemate? Because something tells me Jiren is going to have the upper hand on Ultra Instinct. We saw that happen before when Goku was pretty much attacking him, even though now we saw in episode 128 towards the finale when Jiren threw hands, Goku was able to dodge. But now that Jiren's going to more or less be a bit more aware as to what Goku's going to be doing and how he fights, I'm only going to make the assumption that Jiren is going to be ahead of Ultra Instinct owning Goku. Do you feel differently, or do you feel like, you know, it's more or less going to be the same case where Jiren gets the upper hand until Goku transforms?
I agree with you on him having the upper hand. If you guys look at that preview, yes, the fight's gonna look competitive. However, if you really analyze it, Jiren still looks like he's in complete control of this fight.
Does he really?
Even especially that part where Goku jumps up into the air and tries to launch that Kamehameha, he gets shut down so fast, and how like the ferocity you could feel from the attack right there, it still feels like Jiren's not at 100% just yet. He doesn't look like he's sweating, not as much as Goku is.
So
Goku
he's not using 100%.
I wouldn't say he is, because he doesn't look like he's in a hostile state yet. Goku looks like he's putting everything on the line. Jiren still looks like he has a bit of control left in here. Now we've seen Jiren look like he has like hints of moments where he's about to snap, or it looks like he's about to push into 100%, but I don't see that in the preview just yet. I think we're going to see that during maybe episode 130 when he gets Mastered Ultra Instinct, but for now it still seems like Jiren's in control for the most part.
Now, given if Jiren is controlled for most of the fight, knowing the fact that Ultra Instinct Omen does have a flaw as pointed out by Jiren during episode 110, what I wanted to ask you is, do you believe at some given point that it is possible for Mastered Ultra Instinct to pretty much burn out on its time, similar to what happened during Dragon Ball Super Episode 110, when we saw Goku pretty much push Jiren back, and just when you thought he was going to deliver the final blow, all of a sudden Jiren pointed out the fact that the overwhelming heat that Goku was emitting ended up being his weakness, and as he did that, he burned right through his power, and he got pretty much foddered by the end. So do you believe that something similar may occur to where, again, Goku gets the upper hand, Goku is dominating all throughout the beginning, but the only downfall to Goku winning is perhaps maybe the power running out, because we've seen that time and time again with Super Saiyan God, with Ultra Instinct. We haven't really seen any sort of like burnout factor with Super Saiyan Blue. Super Saiyan Blue, for the most part in this show, has been very consistent, unlike Super Saiyan God early on in Battle of Gods and Ultra Instinct in the beginning of this tournament. Do you believe that it is possible that Goku may completely decimate Jiren, but the only downside is by the end, he ends up succumbing to the timer burning out and him just falling on flat? Or do you think that Goku at this given point is not only going to be able to master the weakness that Ultra Instinct once had, but also survive long enough to keep the timer intact to where he doesn't burn out and finishes by the end?
I mean, everything we've seen with Ultra Instinct thus far, it always shows it ending off with a burnout. But for it to be claimed as Mastered Ultra Instinct, I think for it to be mastered, I think that would be the thing that they would have to cure right there. Like, you can't burn out. But that's the only reason I would say that Jiren still has a possible chance. And on top of that, that gives Frieza his moment, because even if Mastered Ultra Instinct is going to destroy Jiren, what is Frieza doing in this ring up until this point, outlasting 2 MVPs in Vegeta and 17? What are they saving him for? Why are they hiding him? They have to give him something, and the best way to do is he has to assist Goku with Jiren, because Goku's gonna win regardless.
So you don't see it to where the form is gonna burn out at all, because looking at it from, you know, what we saw during episode 110, it was heavily implied that there was something that Jiren pointed out in Goku's Ultra Instinct that allowed him to spot a weakness. Do you think that weakness is going to be revealed, or do you think that, you know, contrary to popular belief, it's Goku's going to master that, you know, flaw, and he's going to continue the fight and thus just completely besting Jiren?
I think he's just going to completely best Jiren. If there is the possibility, which there is like probably a 50% chance of him burning out, Frieza's, that gives the opening for Frieza. Otherwise, if he just beats Jiren down, that's a wasted Frieza, and it does kind of nerf the form at the same time. However, it's always there. Ultra Instinct is still a form that he just unlocked in a minute. This is only getting a minute of in-show time, so you can't really rule that out. But I have a feeling he's going to maintain it, because if they just nerf it just like that, that's not what they're trying to do. They're trying to hype this up to as the end-all be-all. They can't just do that.
You know what's most interesting about the Goku versus Jiren fight that led up into this very point is the fact that Goku this entire time was not able to overcome Jiren in the least, whether that would be in a singular fight, having a fight one-on-one, or whether that would be teaming up with Vegeta or 17. It's remarkable to see how much of a struggle Goku had to go through in order just to get to Jiren, and more or less now towards the finale, it just feels like everything is being rushed into place way too quickly, and it's very predictable now that Goku has the highest chance in beating Jiren. However, I think another key component that we're forgetting here is Frieza, and we don't really know where he is. We don't know his condition. For all we know, he's probably not even at the tournament right now, even though I do believe that he's somewhere on the stage. A lot of people have suggested that Frieza was sent back to hell because perhaps maybe the timer ran out for him being resurrected and him being a part of the real world per se for, you know, 24 hours. You know, similar to the Super Saiyan 3 Goku concept back in Dragon Ball Z, when Baba pretty much told Goku you can't really, you know, burn right through your power, otherwise you're gonna go back to the other world so quick. So maybe that's the concept, we don't know. I still think Frieza is somewhere in the ring, but I do feel like this fight is so predictable. What Toei ought to throw in here is a monkey wrench in getting us to have our predictions more or less be swayed by a third party, and I believe that that third party could be Frieza. But by the end, I feel as if once Goku goes into this fight with Jiren, I'm sorry, once he taps back into this power, once he goes into the mastery of Ultra Instinct, it's game over from there. So let us know your thoughts down below, guys. Are you guys hyped for the finale of Dragon Ball Super? What are your overall thoughts on Mastered UI Goku having to fight Jiren? Do you believe that Jiren is relative to Ultra Instinct? If not, why? If so, Let us know down below, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, guys. Turn on all notifications. Tune back in for more. Check out my boy SuperSaiyanPaul down in the description box. Thank you all so much for watching. Tune back in for more, and we'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Take it easy, everybody. Cue my outro, bitch.